Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister. Nurses, supermarket workers, cleaners, teachers, childcare workers, truck drivers and aged care workers, amongst others, have helped Australia get through the pandemic. Why is the Prime Minister rewarding their sacrifice and hard work by cutting their take-home pay?
The Prime Minister has the call.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. What the Leader of the Opposition just said is completely untrue, Mr Speaker. It's not true. This is a response from the Labor Party which is not surprising but disappointing as usual, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, it is predictable, Treasurer. It is predictable. Mr Speaker, in the peak of this crisis, we pulled together employers and employee representatives from around the country. We got them together in good faith, Mr Speaker, some 150 hours bringing together in discussions around a whole range of issues, Mr Speaker, and we said very clearly as a government that, having gone through that process and listened, that the government would eventually bring to this place a full package of job-creating and job-keeping changes, Mr Speaker, to ensure that Australia could come out of and emerge through this COVID-19 recession, Mr Speaker. That process was not one where we sought parties to sign off on the end of a period of discussions, but we listened to them and then we brought forward the changes that the government believes are necessary, Mr Speaker, to keep jobs and to create jobs, Mr Speaker. It is true that the comeback of the Australian economy has begun, Mr Speaker, but the recovery process has a long way to go. And for that recovery process to continue, and whatever sector or industry Australians are from, and the Leader of the Opposition has mentioned many of them, their jobs do depend on continuing changes being made to ensure that we can keep people in jobs and that we get more people back into jobs, Mr Speaker. We are seeking to do that in a way which allows those employees and their employers to be able to sit together and make agreements, Mr Speaker, that leaves them in a better position as an organisation, as an enterprise which creates and supports jobs, Mr Speaker. Our changes back the wisdom of people in their workplaces. Our changes, Mr Speaker, back the necessity to get Australians back into work. Mr Speaker, I said of the Leader of the Opposition some time ago, if you don't know how Australia went into the COVID-19 recession, then he has no clue on how to come out of it. And what he has betrayed today is that sentiment again, Mr Speaker. The Leader of the Labor Party does not understand the nature of the economic challenges faced by Australia. And it is true, Mr Speaker. It is absolutely true, Mr Speaker, that our recovery has begun, but it has a long way to go. And the government has a broad platform of measures as part of our COVID-19 recovery plan that has already seen almost 80% of work coming back, Mr Speaker, and that's how we'll continue.
Concluded.